This is the City of London Wealth Management Awards and True Potential winning Best Online and Mobile Access. So I just think before we get started, a little well done to ourselves. Let's just look at accumulation. Why should you have a pension, Neil? What is good about a pension?
Can you rely on the state pension in retirement? No is definitely the answer. Because
pensions itself, it's a long-term savings vehicle. It's a long-term savings plan.
How can you make pensions sexy? How can you make them, appealing to the general member of the public? Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the True Potential Do More With Your Money podcast. It's episode 111. I don't know how we've got that far, but here we are. And it's also Friday the 1st of April. So I'm joined by, hopefully no fools today, but I've got Neil Rayner, who is head of our centralised advice team advice. I've got Jenny Lang, who works within our platform investments team. I'm also joined by Sophie, and it's not your first time, I believe, is that right?
Just my second.
Just the second. But speaking of first timers, we're joined by Donald as well. So Donald, if you would just like to introduce yourself and just a little bit about what you do and also where you are.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks, Greg. Good morning, everyone. My name is Donald Sonboy, and I'm joining you live from Edinburgh this morning. I currently oversee the pensions technical team. The team is actually a diverse kind of team. Right now, we play a diverse role within TPI and the group, spanning from operations to projects. Central to that, we actually run a tripartite approach to technical support. So first being to our clients to ensure they understand self-invested pensions, then to our advisors, partners, and stakeholders to ensure that we give them the support as and when required. And third, we work closely with the regulators to ensure that we're compliant and we also remain compliant. So that's what we do within TPI.
Great. Thank you, Donald. Thank you. And you're obviously not in Newcastle, so you're sitting at home today, is that right?
Yes, I am working from home today. Coming to you live and direct, 4 degrees, Edinburgh.
Oh, well, lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Donald. Well, we'll no doubt be speaking to you throughout the podcast today, so thank you for your introductions. And before we get started on today's topic, which is all about pensions, what does the future hold for your pension is the title I've got here, but we'll probably do all things pension as we go around. What I wanted to do is just start with this beautiful award. Am I holding it up the right camera? There you are. This is the City of London Wealth Management Awards and True Potential winning Best Online and Mobile Access. So I just think before we get started, a little well done to ourselves. It's always great going to these ceremonies, and we're always shortlisted for a number of awards. But for me, I always think taking anything technology is always a good thing. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Don't say too many words, guys. But no, it's a fantastic achievement. Well done to everybody at True Potential, especially the development team who've worked over the last year or so in upgrading all of our technology onto the new CNext, which is now available on mobile and on the web. So
I guess as well as we go through the webinar, or not the webinar, the podcast, we'll certainly be able to kind of tell everyone how they can utilise the technology that we've won the awards for. So.
Yeah, I think if you had a look at the changes to the new app, it's pretty apparent that it's been a really good overhaul of the current, the way that we use it. And there's a lot of content on there, including this podcast as well. So I think it's one for clients to really get stuck into.
And no better recognition than a nice award. So there you go. As well, on today's podcast, we're doing things a little bit different. We've got nobody from the investment management firm here. So for anybody like that bit at the start where we've normally got Jeff or one of the team talking about the markets, just dial into the morning markets and catch up on the latest on there. We'll have today's episode live already, and that'll be available on YouTube under the channel. So look out for that. And before we get into all things pensions, I just wanted to stress no advice is going to be given on today's session. So if you are listening, you do think what we're giving is a little bit of guidance, a little bit of information, always speak to a financial advisor here at True Potential. So if you're in a position right now where you're thinking, do I need to put more in? I'm at the time to take some out. always speak to a member of the team like Neil, or one of his advisors working here at True Potential, or indeed your advisor. So I think that's the formalities. Let's get into pensions, everybody. So really, for me, what we're going to be looking at is kind of the life cycle of a pension. A pension can start at a young age and can live with you right till you die if you get it right. So let's just look at accumulation. Why should you have a pension, Neil? What is good about a pension?
Well, obviously, apart from the obvious, provide some income on retirement. I think we've, in previous sort of podcasts, we've always talked about the importance of starting early, which is really important. Why? Because we say that you don't have to save large sums of money straight away. You save what you can afford every month. And ultimately, over a 25, 30-year, 35-year cycle, that's going to provide something for you in retirement, which you'll need. We often talk about, can you rely on the state pension in retirement? No is definitely the answer, because the cost of living is going up, which we've seen pretty evident over the last couple of months, especially with rocketing fuel prices, shopping, that sort of stuff. So the cost of living is definitely going up. We know that the state pension will not be sufficient for the average person on retirement. So really, you need to save into a pension now, because you do get tax benefits by doing so. And obviously, you've got to provide that income when you retire.
Absolutely. And what when you're saying there's benefits of going into a pension, that's the likes of tax relief, and the like. Let's just kick them around for a little bit. So what type of benefits are there when I say put in £100 into my pension?
Yeah, so you'd initially get tax relief straight away once that goes in. That's the 20%, which is you initially get. And then obviously, depending on how much money you earn, you could get higher, a separate amount of tax. You could get an additional amount of tax depending on how much you earn, which is obviously relatable. But yeah, it's anything that you're gonna, we talk about saving into stocks and shares, which is inflation busting, because inflation is quite high at this moment. You can't get any better than saving into a pension, because even if you're a basic rate taxpayer and you get an immediate uplift to 20%, that's pretty inflation beating in itself. So you're getting that immediately, and why not get that? Because saving into a pension is the best way to provide for your retirement.
I think as well, because it's a long-term investment, or in the main it's a long-term investment. It's not like you can just decide one day that you want to buy a handbag or a car, or go on holiday and kind of withdraw it as you could an ISA or a general investment account. So it really is kind of a safe way to make sure that you've got that retirement kind of nest egg.
And Sophie, we've talked about technology, and we probably talk about it on every podcast at True Potential, but just explain a little bit about the way technology can help clients in understanding what they've got, but also what they need to get to where they want to be at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, coming back to that, and while we win such awards, things like that, one of the things that clients really do like on the site is the fact that you can set a goal for your pension. So as Neil's saying, you need to have that in mind, and what you might need in the future. So you can go on and you can edit it whenever you like, and you can put in sort of how much you might think you'll need in retirement, what you earn at the moment, and it would figure out how much you would need per month, and really if you're on track to get there, and if not, how much you do need to be putting in regularly to reach that point. So that's a big help with planning for the future. And of course you can speak to your advisor and things like that. But if you did think your goal had changed and you wanted to see how that had impacted what you're putting in and where it's going, you can easily go on and have a little play about on the site, and it shows you all really clearly with the graphs and gives you an exact monthly figure as well. So yeah, it's pretty handy.
Cool. And Jenny, in your role as well, how can money be paid into a pension? Because obviously some of our listeners might think, well, I take my book into the bank or wherever, and I've got to queue up, and then I've got to give cash or whatever. But what ways do True Potential allow customers to get money from wherever it is into their pension?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a number of different ways. It kind of totally depends how you want to top up. So if you prefer to top up little and often, or even, kind of when you get a big bonus or whatever it may be, you can use the likes of the Impulse Save feature, which is a great bit of technology that allows you to top up from as little as £1. So whether it's £1 or whether it's £100 or whether it's £1,000, you can pop that in as and when, you can. The other great way to do it is actually, as Sophie said, if you're setting a goal and you can contribute to that goal each month, setting up a direct debit so it comes out as part of your bill payments. So you're not even thinking that's disposable income. It is just part of savings. And always for people like my parents who still own a checkbook, if you wanted to top up by check, we can still facilitate that as well.
I think it's really important. You've got options when you want to top up put money into your pension. So if you put, you wanted to put maybe 30,000-40,000 into your pension, you think, well, I might want to speak to an advisor for that, or I'm quite comfortable. I can use the impulse save feature, and I don't need to speak. Maybe it's for your smaller amounts as well.
Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more. And I think for me, on kind of what types of pensions, again, we'll have listeners today who maybe don't have a personal pension, they might have a final salary pension. But again, Neil, I'm just going to look to you to just explain maybe some of the differences in pension types, because most people on the street would say, yes, I've got a pension.
Yeah.
But actually understanding the differences between the types of pensions you can have, and also the different access you've got to those.
Yeah.
Do you maybe want to kick that off?
Yeah. So typically you might have a final salary pension, which is sort of based on your wage, and it's based on maybe how many years you've worked for that company, or a defined benefit scheme. Those workplace schemes really aren't offered anymore because historically they've shown to be paid out very good large sums of retirement amounts. So because companies can't really afford to have those schemes anymore, now you'll probably see defined contribution schemes and personal pensions, which are money purchase schemes, which your money is invested in those types of schemes, or investments like the True Potential portfolios. So you've got sort of final salary schemes, which are the older ones, and then you've got more towards the personal pensions, which are more of the modern type pensions. The difference between the two really is a personal pension, if you took the True Potential pension, tends to be invested in the True Potential portfolios. They have a great deal of flexibility because since pension freedoms in 2015, there are a lot more flexibility with the pensions for clients. So you can maybe change your income, whereas typically with a final salary scheme or a defined benefit scheme, you've got that set amount coming every month into the scheme. But with the personal pensions, you have a lot more flexibility, so you can access that pot whenever you want. You might wish to access it through Flexi Access Drawdown, which is very, very common, where you typically take your tax-free cash of 25% or however much tax-free cash you wish to take, and then the rest is remained invested, or you might want to take an income from that invested amount as well. So clients now have a lot more flexibility with their pensions.
Absolutely. And I'm conscious Donald's somewhere listening over our shoulder, but Donald, I was just going to ask you to kind of jump in at this stage as clients start to get to retirement age. There's obviously a lot of questions that they'll have at that point where they're thinking, what's the right thing to do, because you can only do it once. I think that's quite important. But if I just pose the question to you, it's quite vague, so apologies, but should you always take 25% tax-free cash at retirement?
Well, that's thanks, Greg. That's a very key. It's a key question. Should you take your 25% tax-free cash? Like, I'll just echo before I answer that. Just echo a bit of what we talked about in terms of the advantages of pension. To have pensions, we talked about the tax-free cash that you get on pension. Obviously, there's also the protection of lump sum, so tax-free lump sum, which is the tax-free cash that you get on your pension. So 25. So where really it depends on. This is where the concept of needs and wants come in. Do you need to take your 25% tax-free cash? Is it for the need or is it for a want? So if it's a need, you need to pay bills. Yes, you could take it. Or is it for a want? I just want to buy some bling or just buy a Gucci wristwatch or something. That is a want. So the concept of needs and wants will come in there. But like Jenny said, pensions itself, it's a long-term savings vehicle. It's a long-term savings plan. So a long-term savings plan, you shouldn't really be dipping into a long-term savings plan. If it's you, that's why you have the short-term savings plan. So if you're looking at short-term, you're talking about what Neil said in terms of ISAs and GIA, so individual savings accounts or a general investment account. So those are short-term investment plans. So for pension, really, it's a long-term savings plan. But when you get to retirement, and pretty much at retirement, we expect that income, you have a reduced income. So that's also one of the advantages of having a pension, because pension itself fills that gap when you retire. So if you need to use your 25% tax-free cash, by all means, you've saved it, then you are able to do that. But if it's just for a want, I would expect that you probably have all the short-term savings, which you can use for maybe a want if you want. There's nothing wrong in, splurging on yourself or just, splashing out if you want. But key, anything that you take, if you take funds 25% from a tax-free environment, pension is also a tax efficient environment. So if you take that away from your pension and you put it into your saving, into your bank account, now you don't have that tax cover that you have within a pension. So you pretty much have to think carefully about what you want, what your needs are, why you need to take that 25%. If you don't have to take the tax-free lump sum, by all means, let it stay invested, let it continue to grow within your pension. But if you don't have a medium to short-term savings plan, and pension is all you have, and you've reached your retirement age, and if you need to use that, please by all means do that. But I'll just echo what Neil said in terms of getting appropriate financial advice. That's key. So before you go in dipping into a pensions or taking any, speak to an advisor. If you don't have one, contact us. We'll get you, connected to one. So it's pretty much the concept of needs and wants. What are your needs? Do you need to take it? Yes, you do need to take it. Then it's there for you to use. But do I have other short-term savings plan? Yes, I do. Dip into those first. That's what I would do before going into a pension, because I still want to maintain that maximum tax efficiency wrap I've got within a pension. So pension will be the last thing I'll pretty much dip into, really.
Yeah, I think
Right.
as well, Donald, you again dead right, and I think the only bit I'd add or kind of emphasise is that loss of growth. Once you're taking it out of the tax position, you're also taking it out of the markets. You're putting it into the bank, and we've covered previous podcasts on the likes of inflation and losing money in the bank versus being invested. You're taking it away from that growth and environment as well. So
I think as well it's probably an important point, and Donald, you can probably back this up, but you might not need the full 25%. You might only need a portion of that. You've still got the availability to kind of say, all right, well, my £100,000 pension, I can take 25% tax free. I actually only want £10,000. You can do that as well.
I think there's a big misconception as well that when people come to retirement, they have to take the 25% tax-free
Don't.
cash,
Yeah.
and it's quite evident that they don't.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So sorry, Donald, do you want to jump in there as well?
Yes, I just wanted to do what Jenny talked about. Yes, that's absolutely correct. And what Neil also said, you don't have to take the 25%. So a lot of people actually think when you come to retirement, oh, now I can take 25%. You don't have to take it. So if you don't need it, don't take it. And you don't really have to take the 25% as a lump sum upfront. So Laura Jenny said, if it's only 10,000 you need, you are able to take that £10,000. So it's just pretty much asking yourself the key question, what do you need in retirement? Do you want the flexibility to take as much or as little as you want? So when do you need to take it? And do you want to also take, when you're taking withdrawals, do you want it to continue to grow within that, within the pension environment? Yes. If it is a yes, so you are able to curtail what you actually take out within the pension. So that's pretty much key. So if you do not need to take money out of pensions, you don't have to. But if you need to do that, then it's there. It's a safe haven for you, some sort of a fallback for you to take if you need it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Donald. And if we look at it, let's now move into the next part of it, which is a pensions there to essentially become an income for yourself from retirement till death. That's the whole purpose of this. But Neil, you'll be advising clients about taking withdrawals on a monthly basis to pay income. And I'm assuming the advice is much the same. It's don't take too much, make sure you take enough.
Yeah, definitely. And the big thing about the financial advice is to make sure that it's going to be sustainable for the client until basically they're not here anymore. And we do a lot of work with clients, looking at their income, looking at their expenditure, looking at what they're going to be spending on retirement, and then looking at their overall pension pot. It's not just the pension pot as well. It could be things that they've got in ISAs and savings, anything which is going towards the retirement. We have a lot of clients now who have inheritance tax issues, and as we know, by keeping your funds in the pension, that's shielded from inheritance tax. So it's a really, the best thing is to speak to an advisor, because the advisor will look at everything, your whole situation, your holistic financial planning, if you like, and it's really important to speak to one if you're unsure about how much income you need in retirement.
Absolutely. And into the future, who knows what the future holds for us in pensions? I'm looking around the table, and we'll all probably never retire. Maybe you might be okay, Neil, with your age, but maybe this end of the table, we might never retire. But pension age, as far as we can remember, has only ever gone up, as has life expectancy. So you could say they're kind of in line. But I don't know, I'll probably be working in B&Q when I'm about 90 years old, still stacking shelves. I can't see retirement coming for me. But what's everyone's thoughts about pension age moving up and up?
Yeah, it's going to go up as life expectancy goes up. People are living longer. Whether or not people who are in their 20s now will get a state pension, we don't know. But typically, how can you safeguard against that? Save into a personal pension, put some money aside. Get the advantages of starting early, because for when you do retire in 30, 40 years' time, you don't know that you'll have a little bit of that state pension to fall back on. So why take a risk? Put some money away, and it doesn't, like I said before, it doesn't have to be a large amount. If you're young and you want to save into a pension, I probably wish I had started saving into a pension earlier than what I started. But the opportunities for now, especially through the technology, and like Jenny said before, if you want to commit yourself to maybe a smaller direct debit of say £25 a month, something like that, or £50 a month, you got spare money out of your wage at the end of the month. Why not impulse save it into the pension?
Absolutely.
I think as well, especially now, if you contribute into that pension, you're likely to get an employer contribution as well. So it's not just what you're putting in; it's what your employer's putting in, plus what of the government are putting in with the tax relief as well. So it really is. Yeah.
So you're getting two boosts into that pension, potentially one from your employer and one from the government.
Yeah, plus growth. Yeah. I think, Sophie, you're kind of somebody I'd look at and say, are you going to be reliant on the government for your pension, or are you taking it into your own hands?
So absolutely not. As you're all saying, so sitting here in early 20s, it's one of those things that you can't really rely on it being there in sort of 20 years, and never mind when I'm probably going to retire, which is unfortunately
5 years for Neil.
a very long way off. But if you just sort of think that it won't be there, and if it does, it's a bonus. But it's not something that I don't think anyone sort of my age category can really rely on at the moment. So, yeah, definitely not.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because it used to be the nanny state, didn't it? It used to always have that comfort there, and it's interesting hearing somebody younger than me, but having that opinion of, I'm just not expecting it.
Yeah, I think as well, for sort of me, the impulse save reminders are a good idea. Yeah. So, you can have small direct debit, but just setting a little reminder that pings you maybe towards the end of the month. Mm-hmm. So if you do have a bit of extra, even if it's not much, if it's just like, another £20 to put in, it's always a good idea. And if it gives you a little text, it's a little bit of I probably should do that.
And another feature as well, what Sophie said before, was the goal. If you can put that little bit more in extra each month, either through impulse save or increasing your direct debit, it'll show you the effect it has in 20, 25 years and what that projection will be and what you're going to get potentially on retirement.
Yeah. Absolutely. Another topic, auto enrolment, another type of pension through your pay, essentially. I think it was when it was first announced, the one thing I personally thought it was missing was the fact you could opt out. It should have been made mandatory to all employed people in the UK, basically, or everybody that qualified for it. Reason being, a bit like you've said before, Neil, you wish you'd have started younger. Mm-hmm. You look at the statistics, the younger you are, the less likely you are to be opted into your workplace pension. It's a statistic that's there. The older people are, the more likely they are to be paying into it, because they're getting closer to retirement. Mm. They're starting to think about it, and if it was made mandatory, and if it was, if you're earning a wage over this amount, this is how much is going in, and obviously, as we've talked about, your employer can match it.
Yeah, and also as well, you can't touch it till you're 55.
Correct.
So you treat it as a bill; it's going to be there, and then you can't access it till you're 55 anyway. So.
And I was going to ask a personal question if everybody's opted in, I'm assuming, around this table,
Yes.
but
Yes.
we're all sensible people here, True Potential. But I've got a couple of friends I speak to who, immediately opt out, because to them that's money in their pocket. I'm not giving my money away to this pension thing, and it's because of a lack of understanding. And again, really, it's always about if you are working, you're not paying into a pension, look at the workplace scheme, speak to the team at your end, and see what they offer. Because it's always a good way to start.
Yeah, as well, and I think there's a lot of people who maybe are 40 or approaching the age of 40 might think, oh well, I've not been put into a pension. It's too late for me. It's really not, because you could be retiring when you're 67, 68. So you've got another 27, 28 years worth of contributions there, and that could create a really decent pension pot.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And another one for me, and this is one I'm not all I'd fair with, and I'm hoping Neil and certainly Donald can chip in at this bit, but we've got this thing, but it's been banded around the press and in the industry. It's probably not made its way out to the public yet, but we've got the pensions dashboard. It's something to help, say, people who've had 5 or 6 jobs over their lifetime in being able to look at all of these older schemes that maybe are not normally accessible to them. But I don't know, Neil.
I think the idea behind it, is just to make sure that you're fully aware of what the total pot is that you have towards retirement. So what it'll typically do is pull all your pensions together, have it on one dashboard, so a person can go onto that dashboard and typically look and see what is the full amount that they're going to have contributing towards their retirement pot.
Yeah, I think beneficial to True Potential clients. They've already been able to consolidate all of their pensions onto our technology. So if they do have an old legacy pension, they can bring the data across onto the TP systems and view it.
Yeah.
But this dashboard's going to help them get there. And Donald, I'll just jump across to you there as well, just to add a bit more onto that.
Yeah, pretty much what Neil has said. The pension dashboards program, it's pretty much been, it's been going on for a few years, and obviously accommodating, starting, we have a staging period starting in April 2023. So it's essentially a dashboard, which is a simple hub where clients can actually find and view their pensions, all their pension they've got, including their state pension. So from your state pension straight to your private pension or your personal pension you've got with any scheme at all. So it's a simple dashboard powered by pretty much by the industry, so that every client can have a find and a view reason to go in there. So it pretty much helps with, like you said, it could help with consolidation, and it would also help with finding lost pensions. So it's a very, very, very important, piece of development that the industry is really looking forward to. Now there are various staging processes going on. So staging areas. So we've got the large schemes are meant to actually go into that program between April 2023 and 2024. So while we have the medium-sized schemes will go in about 2025 to 2026. So the smaller schemes and also the micro schemes that are maybe 1 or 2 or 3 member schemes are also able to go in as from 2026. So it's pretty much a nifty kit that would pretty much change the face of pension in a slightly different way. So clients are able. So if you're able to, it's pretty much like I can say like a banking app. So you have a banking app where you go and have you can pretty much put all your bank accounts under an app. So it's pretty much, but this is a dashboard for pensions. And the beauty about it is all your pensions, including your state pension. If I can just backtrack a bit, when we talked about the various types of pensions that we've got, and Neil said we've got the DB and the defined benefit and the defined contributions pension. There's also one that actually we don't talk about within the structure of DB and DCs, which is the state pension. So essentially, it's money you get from the government when you hit state retirement age. So can you live off that? We've pretty much covered it, on this session and previous session. You can't really live on your state pension. So, but what the pension dashboard programs really essentially is, will pretty much consolidate, will show you all the pensions you've got within the UK, including your state pension, and it's also a good tax planning tool. So for Neil and the lads that give advice to and guidance to advisors and all that, so where you are able to see all your pension within a dashboard, then it's easier for you to plan. And like I said, 3 different staging periods. The large schemes going in 2023-24, medium-sized scheme 2024-25, and the small to micro schemes 2026. So we're really excited in the industry for that, and we're looking forward to that.
Great, thanks, Donald. And hopefully it's not delayed like everything else that comes out. You know, normally there's a.
Well,
it sounds great.
Sounds
great in 2025.
Yeah, okay. Let me just because I hope it's not going to get delayed, because the FCA consultation for that is still open at the moment. It's not closed yet, so we're still in the consultation period, kind of. But look, the industry's geared up to receive this. So the FCA consultation doesn't close until the 8th of April, I think. So it's still on. The DWP one closed I think about a month ago. Yes. So touch wood, there will be no delays on this one, because we're really excited and looking forward to it, really.
Great, thanks, Donald. Well, what we'll do, ladies and gentlemen, we'll probably just quickly have a recap. Normally the question at the end of the podcast, what you're doing at the weekend, but it's boring because Neil's normally riding his bike or something like that. So
yeah,
you probably are riding your bike this weekend again, Neil, if the weather's nice.
I'm not actually. I'm going to Manchester.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Lovely.
There you go. So I used to live there.
You did used to live in Manchester. I remember that. Well, the question I'm going to ask, and this is on behalf of our viewers and listeners, how can you make pensions sexy? How can you make them, appealing to the general member of the public? So for me, my answer, and I'll go first, hopefully steal one of your answers, but my answer is going to be technology. It's a real leveller. It means you can contribute £1 into your pension today. You could get your phone out, you could impulse save, and you could put £1 in today. There's nobody else in the UK, allowing that to happen. It's normally got to be a full contribution, or it's got to be full financial advice, which you have to pay for. Technology for me is how to make pensions exciting. Donald, you could see how enthused he was talking about a dashboard, which is a really boring thing actually, but because it's using technology, it's harnessing it and it's letting you see things you wouldn't normally be able to access. So for me today, I can log in, put money in. I can't take it out because I'm not 55. That's great. It's locked away. But actually what I can start doing is saying, I'm a little bit short. I need to put a bit more in. And having a goal ahead of yourself is always better, because it gives you something to get towards. So for me, making pensions,
I feel like he's covered everything off. He's literally taken everything.
Making them sexy is all about technology.
The only thing that I was going to add is kind of still technology related, but is you've got the True Potential rewards. So you can opt to put that into your pension as well.
Yeah.
So yes, it's nice to have it maybe in your ISA or your GIA, but again, if it's money that you weren't expecting back, get it into your pension.
And if we've got any first-time listeners, what's True Potential rewards?
So True Potential's rewards. Actually, Sophie, you might be better explaining this. Or
well, the main one we get questions about is Just Eat.
Which Greg uses all the time.
So really, we've partnered with loads of merchants. So if you're thinking about buying something, online on your phone, just pop onto your True Potential site, have a look on the rewards page. You can search wherever you're going to buy something from. It's more than likely it's on there, and you just go on through the True Potential website, and then they give you cash back that you can put into your policy. So cash that you weren't expecting to get back. So exactly. Bonus.
Yeah, and you can get tax relief on it as well.
Yeah. I think probably for me would be sort of what you touched on, but I would say to show people what they can get on retirement. I think if you can see, I'm going to get that on retirement, and if I contribute X, Y, Z, it'll show me I'm going to get X amount. And also what we do is on the app now, which is fantastic, is on the pension, if you drill into it, it shows you projection on what you can get, but then it also shows you what you get annually and monthly. It works it out, and it works it out if you increase your direct debit or if you impulse save automatically, and it'll show you exactly what you're getting. And if you think, well, that's not enough, I need to contribute some more, there you go.
Perfect. And Donald, one last one from you. We'll quickly bring you on. One last quick one. What gets you going with pensions?
Personally, I would say we should It's like some sort of dialing down the noise so that clients can have clarity of sound, really. The jargon, you pretty much have to speak a different language in pensions. So I probably normally would call it pensionese. That needs to go. If we need to let people, if we want people to engage with pensions, then we have to be able to dull down some of the language and the terms that we use and make pensions really, really simple for people. The end clients really don't, they don't LTAs, PCLS, CFCs and all that. No, in simple, clear, concise language so that they can explain it. Pretty much what the pensions technical at TPI do right now is pretty much dialing down the noise so that clients can actually have clarity of mind, understand what self-investment pensions are, and are able to engage with you easier. It's easier for them to engage with you when they understand the language. So it's pretty much changing the language from pensionese to simple, clear English that everyone understands. I think that's going to go a long way. And another thing I was probably say, a lot of people, money doesn't sleep at all. So it's money that you've actually have saved, that you've earned. So if you've spent it and you've not saved it, you've not earned it at all. So keep saving, keep investing, and keep setting goals for yourselves.
Perfect. Thank you, Donald, and thanks for joining us today as well. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Before we finish, just as a quick reminder as well, ladies and gents, we're very much at tax year end as well. So don't forget to, if you've not already, maximise this tax year. Depends what day you're listening to it, how many days are left, but you've got until the 5th of April to contribute into your ISA pension and so on. So don't forget that. So as ever, thank you for joining us. I hope you found today's session on pensions at least interesting. Maybe not as excited as Donald was, but there you are. Please do also remember to like and also subscribe for more information. Thank you.
Subscribing to the True Potential YouTube channel is quick and easy. Simply go to the channel on your desktop or through the YouTube app on your phone and click the subscribe button. You can then press the notification bell symbol if you wish to be notified as and when new videos are released. Doing this is a great way to keep yourself updated with market developments and personal finance insights. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed, and we look forward to continuing to help you do more with your money.